All right. Thank you all for joining Agent Power Hour. Today we have Linda Barr, who is a Colorado realtor, and she is MRP certified. So it's military relocation certified. She's also the #1 go-to realtor for relocation for Halliburton in Colorado, #1 go-to realtor for Blue Origin in Denver. And she's a boy mom, and she's a Army veteran wife. So we are very happy to have her here. We have someone that knows what they're talking about when it comes to certifications and what certifications we should get to do relocation. Linda, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah. So how did you get into really, relocation? Was it due to being an Army family?
Yeah, so basically, my first thing right out of getting my license was I was really focused on military. My husband and I had our own bad experiences, realtors and actually lenders who were like, oh yeah, we're VA certified. We know the VA process. And they really didn't know jack shit. So because VA is so different, you have to be really careful who you partner with on the lending side as well. Because again, you will have those lenders who will say they're VA certified and they don't know the process. That was super important to me. So within a month of having my license, I went and got my relocation for military, which is the MRP. It's a military relocation professional. Because I know that they have all these credentials. Like you'll see agents sometimes they'll have like all these acronyms like after their name. And those are just extra, certifications and things and classes that they have done. To me, I didn't want to be have a paragraph of those. I just wanted to focus on certain ones. And like I said, MRP was really important to me for the military side. My husband was in the Army for 10 years. We moved here. And so I just know how hard it is. My sister, she's married to a colonel in the Air Force. So she's had to deal with a lot of things, and they moved way more than we did, or have been moving way more than we have had to. So just seeing the process and trying to understand how much, the real estate transaction is so stressful to begin with. And that's what we're here for, right? To help our clients kind of ease that stress, get the process done, go over the contracts, make sure, because this is such a huge purchase. It's such an investment in their life. So having that, and then knowing the relo side of it and understanding there's all these other challenges now, especially if they're moving out of state or whatever, maybe the husband's going overseas, you just never know. That is the reason why I went after my MRP certification right away. And when I started, my mentors and classes, I was with Keller Williams. My mentor she was also the compliance officer. So it was contract. I'm like, okay, well, how do I get clients? I'm 3 months in and I'm like, okay, I got my MRP certification. I know my contract. I'm doing this, but how do I get clients? Everyone was talking about, the list of things you can do. You can do open houses. You can do, cold calling. You can do door knocking. And honestly, none of those sounded good at all to me whatsoever. I'm like, I hate it when people come to my door. I hate it when people cold call me. Why am I going to put myself in that situation? So it took me a little while to try to figure out what can I do. And then I started hearing about relocation. That's what kind of prompted me to go, okay, well, let me start looking into this. And then I started doing vendor events and things that just went towards my personality and what I like to do and how I resonate with people. I don't resonate on the phone unless I know you. I resonate more with strangers in person. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. So 2 parts. So what's the process for getting your MRP certification? And, once you have it, is that just, you can put it by your name, or can you start getting leads? Are there people you can contact in the military that, is that a good way to go about it to, start generating leads? How do you do all that?
For the MRP certification, you're going to want to get, I believe it's on Dora or NAR. I'm assuming everybody's a part of NAR, right? In our group, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you go in there, you type in MRP. It's a class that you have to pay for. And once you go through that, you'll get your certification. And then once you get that, they will send you out material. I think you have to request it. It's been almost 7 years. So I'm happy to if anybody literally wants to look into this, I'm happy to jump in and navigate it with you. I don't remember exactly how the process went. I just remember doing my extra courses, paying for the classes, And then it wasn't like a super long, it wasn't anywhere like it was like 6 months of learning or courses or anything. And then once you get that, you can now advertise and market that you are MRP certified. So they will send out materials to you if you want, and you can co-brand them. And what was the second question?
How do you go about actually like getting the leads? I mean, once you get a certification, are you kind of like on a list that you can, or do you need to like make contacts with like people in the military that help with relocation?
It doesn't have leads at all. It's not like Home for Heroes. It's not a program that you pay for. Those are all extra things that you pay for, which we can go over that in a minute. You will become MRP certified. You'll have your certification, you'll have your marketing materials. And then if you go on like Facebook, you'll find different groups that are literally just for MRP. So I'm from California. So my whole sphere is in California, and I would say 80 to 85% of my business is relocation, and not even here. So I'm always reaching out because I have people, from my sphere who reach out to me. So I'm placing them with other agents. And if it's military, especially, I will reach out to that group that I am a part of. I have a few different groups that I will reach out to see who's also MRP certified. And a lot of the agents too are military spouses or they're ex-military.
You have the MRP certification, you're a military family. How, if someone's not in the military, is it still a good idea to do this, or are they really looking for someone who like understands the entire relocation and stuff of the military?
There are agents who get it who aren't affiliated with military. Like another example, so I also focus on public service, not only because a lot of military go to those professions, but because my dad was a police officer. But you'll have other people who are in there and they're like ex-firemen or ex-cops or whatever, and they go and get that certification. So no, you do not have to be a military spouse or a military member. It's just a lot of them are, but you don't have to be.
You said something about homes for heroes and stuff like that. Do you do any of those programs to generate leads?
When I first started looking into the Relo program a few months after I had started figuring out that's what I wanted to do, I started looking into those programs. The problem with those programs is they're very expensive right up the get. And especially when you're a new agent, you're like, oh, I don't have $5,000 to drop to be their preferred agent on their list. And it's not just you. There's like a list of them that they will go through. It's like a numbers thing. You'll probably get a deal. I don't know. I honestly never physically joined because it wasn't in my wheelhouse at the time. So I was trying to create different scenarios. For example, like the whole vendor thing, I went to Cabela's and went in there because they do have vendors go in there, and that's like the kind of people I would resonate with. So I just went to Cabela's. I talked to the manager, and they were allowing me to come in and set up a booth. A lot of their employees travel because there's like there's Grand Junction, there's Parker, there's Thornton, those different areas. So at first I came in just to like get the customers. Well, then I ended up meeting the general manager, and he was like, well, what kind of program? And at that time I was building my own Relo program because I couldn't afford to be a part of any of the Relo programs I was like coming in contact with, like Home for Heroes, and there's a few other ones as well. And like businesses have their own Relo companies sometimes, and you have to pay a premium to be in that list, right? So I couldn't afford to do that. So that's why I started thinking outside the box, trying to get in with other places. And then as I worked my Cabela's deal, I realized that I could just build my own. So I started building my own, and that's how I was able to get into actual businesses for relocation. And it may not have been pertaining to military, but it was still relocation, which I think military and relocation are just hand in hand. So it just kind of worked.
Now, when you're doing a like military relocation, and then you close on the house or whatever else, what's like the fee you have to pay back for, like, let's say you help like an Army family move?
So there's no fee unless it's a referral. Any clients I've referred or been referred to through like my groups for MRP, it's just been the standard. It's nothing big. It's only if you join those certain groups or you actually are with a company that has a Relo program in place, like for Halliburton, for example. So even though Halliburton is freaking amazing, it's a hefty referral fee. And that's because of the relocation certification within EXP, which I do want to talk about. So that is a whole nother, do you want me to go into that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. If you guys are looking into relo on top of that, on top of the military side of it, or if you just want to do the relo side of it, EXP has rolled out their own program. And last year is when I took it. You have to be certified if you're going to do any of this within EXP to be a relo agent. So like I have my accounts that I do all by myself, all on my own, where I'm not paying that referral fee, but like with Halliburton, because they have an in-house referral program for their executives and their managers, I have to go through them, which has to go through EXP's internal relo department. But if I didn't get that certification, I wouldn't be able to do that.
How exactly did you get hooked up with like Halliburton and Blue Origin?
Once I got my certification with EXP, because I got my certification when I got my license, and then the whole Cabela's thing, that's like a whole long story, but it ended up, because Bass Pro Shop took them over. So long story short, Bass Pro Shop took them over. So I had the account, and literally when they came in, they fired so many people. So I lost all my contacts, and they were like, yeah, we're dealing with a takeover right now. So they wouldn't even meet with me. So I lost it. And I actually just stopped doing everything because I got so discouraged that I had worked 9 months on this whole entire project and brought other people in, and then nothing happened because of that. So I was really like hesitant. And then Louis had brought up to me about the whole relocation program that they were doing at EXP, and how, we did this, I think you did it at the same time, right? Last year.
Yeah, last January.
Yeah. So I kind of was playing around with it, and I'm like, no, I don't know if I want to do that. And then I go, no, this is what I need to do, because I really want to get back to focusing on that. So I need to just, put the past in the past and go forward, because I know I'm really good at it. So I went ahead and did it. And once that happened, I started to build up my team, because I knew I didn't want to just go to Homes for Heroes, or I keep saying that because that's the one that always is prevalent in my mind, but there's different programs that you can try to get into that have lenders on the side, or they have agents or whatever, but it's a hefty fee. And I'm still at that point where I'm like, I can do this myself. I know I've built it out before. I'm going to do it again. So I found myself a couple lenders who I know are very VA savvy. That's something that you definitely want to look into. And then we started building out this program to tailor it towards businesses. Once I did that, then I started to break it down to be like, okay, who runs this department? Who can I talk to there? Because that's where the tricky part comes in, is like, who do I have to talk to? Because sometimes you can't just walk in the door and be like, hey, I'm here to talk relo. Like, who do I talk to? Right. And they're like, yeah, so-and-so's not here, or here, I'll take a message or whatever. I had some help from some of my lenders in the beginning. So like Blue Origin, one of my lenders had a program to where they were able to get me in front of the right person to talk to, because she was like in Pennsylvania. It's like back east somewhere, but it was the right person. So I was calling her, I emailed her, and then finally we were able to connect. And I was telling her about the program. Blue Origin also has an in-house relo company for their managers and executives, but I was able to stay on top of it. It takes a few months. It's kind of like a commercial deal where it's not, instant. It's going to take a few months to get it going. But I worked on that account for about 3 to 4 months, staying on top of HR, staying on top of the global director, the ones that I needed to reach out to. And I was finally able to snag that account as the #1 preferred realtor for them for Denver, because I literally went on Indeed and searched what big companies are hiring or moving out here. And Blue Origin had like 270 jobs that they had just posted last summer.
Smart.
For this coming year, or the end of this year, I think is when it's going to start rolling in. But that was one thing that just kind of tailored me to go through them or go after them.
You talked about like how your lender kind of helped with this. Now, would a possible strategy be going to bases, and is there like a person that's kind of like the go-to on like help, like once they PCS and stuff? Is there like someone that helps get them set up at around that new base, or is it kind of more you're on your own, like you got to be here, you report at 5 a.m. at this time, figure it out?
You mean for military bases?
Military, yes.
So that you're definitely on your own. So that's why it's good to be a spouse or or a veteran, because you can get on base. So my first listing was in Colorado Springs, obviously, because all the 3 bases are out there. And I was able to get on every single base, and I advertised through they had newspapers. I just went and talked to front office. That's where I went, and they had a newsletter that went out to all 3 bases. So I was able to put my stuff in there because military. And then the guy's house I was selling, he was military. So they were just like, we'll just put it in here for you. I didn't pursue because Colorado Springs is a little far for me, but that is how I would approach that. Like Buckley's not too far. So I do have contacts out there. I just have not gone in there to do that. But they have, it's not their HR department, but it is like the commander that's out there is who I'm supposed to talk to. And then there's also somebody who runs their newspaper for the Buckley side. That is what I would do. I would definitely get in there. And if you don't have access, then you need to start marketing to clients who do. Because the reason why I got the commander's info is because my listing right now is a guy who's at Buckley, and his commander kept saying, well, she's not with Home for Heroes. And I'm like, so I had a whole sit down on what exactly Homes for Heroes is and why I do even better.
Yeah.
Why I'm better. I mean, whatever, but or just exactly the same. Like it's just a program.
Now, is MRP and Relo, are those the only 2 certifications you have?
No, I really just, those were the 2 that I wanted to focus on. I feel like there's so many there really are some certifications. Like, you can be a buyer specialist or a seller specialist. And I'm like, I feel like that just comes. So I've never really wanted to like do it because honestly, people don't understand it anyways. I mean, I'll see like people that have millions of them and I'm like, I don't even know what those are. So.
And you're in the industry.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, exactly. I've done a couple YouTube videos where I explained a few of them, but I don't know. It wasn't important to me. I guess that's it, what you want to focus on. But I don't like to, I'm pretty scatterbrained sometimes anyway. So I'm like, okay, just these 2 things were good. And I know that the EXP Reload did offer it for free because I want to say it's like $800. And they have the 2 classes I've seen because I think they do it twice a year.
January and September.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a standard thing, and I believe when I did my MRP certification, I think it was like $250.
So you go in and because I have a military base, Fort Riley's right next to me. And so you go in there and you get on you get on base and do a lot of that stuff. And I missed it. I apologize, but how would you go and generate leads and stuff through that stuff if you weren't military or access to that?
If you weren't military, I would either befriend someone who is or start marketing to that clientele so that you can gain those relationships of people who are already on there, or in there. Like I said, I don't know if you missed this part, but I have a current listing right now. That's how I was able to get the contact information for the commander that I need to talk to at Buckley, because I'm selling his house right now and he's at the base. Like I can get on base all day long. My husband, I'm a military wife, so I can get on base, but like, who do you talk to?
Right.
Unless you're like I said, in Colorado Springs, my husband wasn't stationed there. So I'm literally just walking in to that first building. And I'm like, okay, hey, who do I talk to? Can I leave these brochures here? I have a great program. I tailor to military. I'm MRP certified. Like I'm a military wife. Like, can you just take these? And then I'll go to the PX and I'll be like, okay, all these boards. And I'll go talk to the managers in there and just be like, hey, even though they always say yes, that's another connection. I don't want to just put stuff up. I just want people to be like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what is this for? And because maybe they'll be interested, or maybe they can,
right.
It's just another contact, or they'll know who to talk to. Just be asking questions, get in there. But if you're not military, then start marketing to those people, start seeing what groups they have. I know Facebook and like Nextdoor. So Nextdoor, they have a whole military group, and it's not just my area. It's like throughout Colorado. So it's like north, south, east, west, whatever, that I joined. And then I'll post stuff in there that's military only. Where's everybody at, I guess, on their not certification, but like what's the most important thing for you guys to like know about relo? Are you guys all focusing on relo and military? Or are you like doing separately?
I'm James. I'm in the Denver area. I'm
My
not
name's
focused
Kyle.
on relo.
I'm in Manhattan.
Kansas. And Connor you're up near Windsor, right? Up north.
Yeah, I'm up in Windsor.
Anastasia, she does, and Ethan's usually on here. Ethan just got his MRP certification yesterday, and Anastasia, I think she really wants to focus on relo. Is that correct?
Yeah, Peterson Air Base, Fort Carson.
Anything else you want to share about the relocation that would be helpful for people getting into it?
Kind of piggybacking on what I had said at the beginning, I feel it's important to kind of share like my story on the very beginning when I knew it was important to me. And then because I lost my one and only deal, I just gave up. Just don't get discouraged. Like just keep at it, figure out what's working and what's not. It's obviously mundane to sit there and continuously do the same things that don't work, but don't quit completely if it's something that you're passionate about or that you want to do. Because that was my biggest downfall, is I put so much time and effort and I felt really bad. It kind of makes me think about how Anastasia was like, I feel really bad about taking these clients, but you didn't take the clients from the other agent. So it's just knowing like you brought these other people who also believed in you, and it was completely out of your control what happened. It wasn't anything that you did professionally. It wasn't anything they did. You guys worked really, really hard on that. So just understanding that you're going to get those no's, and that goes for everything, to be honest. Like if you don't have enough in your pot, the one thing that falls through is going to be devastating. If you have a few things that are going and one falls through, you're like, cool, I don't have time to focus on that. I got these other things I need to focus on. It sucks, but you're not going to dwell on it. So I think taking that as you move forward and figuring out exactly what is important to you, and if that's what you want to do, just keep at it.
That sounds like a video I just posted on Monday. How to stay positive as a realtor. Yeah, that was a lot of it.
Positive. Lots of vodka. No, yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It is, because we get so many no's. We do. And you get railroaded, you get nasty agents, you get other people. I mean, people are terrible. Honestly, there's no loyalty. There's no, I don't care. There really isn't. It's just who's got the best deal, who can do it right now. It's very frustrating, but it's just figuring out what do you want to do. And I knew that relo and military were my top priorities. And that is what I'm going to run with now. And I'm not going to falter even if I lose something.
Ethan, how long did it take you to get your MRP certification?
2 days. You could maybe do it in a day if you're diligent.
Okay. Ethan's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area too. And he just got his MRP certification yesterday.
Nice. Congrats. That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to get going with it.
So now we got most of the big cities around with got Denver area, Colorado Springs area, and DFW area. And then
Manhattan.
Yeah, in Manhattan. Well, we're coming to the top of the hour. Yeah, Linda, greatly appreciate you coming on. It's actually very insightful and learned a lot. And actually, I might get my MRP certification just because I realized it was, a day or two to get it, but it might take me a little while longer.
Yeah, it's not like, so the relo for EXP was 4 weeks but it was like for 4 hours.
Yeah.
So that one is pretty intense. Yeah. It's just a lot of information to go over, but once you have it, you have it. So that is another thing that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, cool. We're good.
Well, I appreciate you guys all coming on, and thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your insight on relocation and everything. So
well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right.